أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الغر الميامين ولعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المبين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تكونوا كالتي نقضت غزلها من بعد قوة صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This month of Ramadan, the way Allah has introduced this month, Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam. O believers, this fasting has been made obligatory on you. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. The way it was made mandatory to the people before you. La'allakum tattaqun. And all these exercises that we are doing and the worship that we are doing and all the things that we are doing in this month, there's only one purpose to it, and that purpose is to get taqwa, to have God-fearness within us. And this is the whole purpose. That's why we do whatever we are doing. And when Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wassalam, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, in his last dua, when he is giving or bidding farewell to the month of Ramadan, this dua is really beautiful. If my brothers and sisters, if they have time, and to my elders too, inshallah, if they have time, then they should definitely go through this dua. And this dua is in Sahifatul Sajjadiyya or Sahifatul Kamila. And please go through the translation too. The way Imam is speaking and the way Imam is communicating to this month, the way Imam is addressing to this month, is so beautiful. The way Imam is giving his salam to this month. How does Imam say, Assalamu alayka ya shahr Allah al-akbar. Our salutations and salam to the month of Allah, which has the greatest sanctity. Wa ya Eid awliyaihi. And you know, like our Eid comes in on the 1st of Shawwal, right? But Imam is saying, Ya Eid awliyaihi. This month brings so much joy and so much happiness for the awliya of Allah, for the friends of Allah. And then Imam, there's so many salams Imam has said. I have just selected 2 or 3. Then Imam goes, Assalamu alayka ya shahran, ya akrama mashubin fil awqat. That my salams and my salutations to the month which was the best companion. Wa ya khayra shahrin fil ayyami was sa'at. And when it comes to spending the days and when it came to spending the hours, the best of companion was what? Month of Ramadan. You know, that's why the khutbah to Sha'baniyah, the famous khutbah that is quoted by so many Shia and Sunni scholars. You know, it's been quoted through Imam Sadiq, it is being quoted through Imam Rada alayhi salatu wassalam. All those Imams, they have quoted through their chain. So Imam Rada from his father, from his father, from his father, and it goes all the way to Amir al-Mu'mineen. Then Amir al-Mu'mineen said the Prophet was giving a sermon one day, and we have all listened to it before. But the relevant words that are really important is what? وَأَنفَاسِكُمْ فِيهِ تَسْبِيحٌ. That you taking the breath or you spending the time, every second that you're going through this month is a form of tasbih, is a form of exaltation that you're doing to Allah Almighty. وَنَوْمُكُمْ فِيهِ عِبَادَةٌ. And even your sleep in this month is a form of worship. So imagine you're just sleeping, doing nothing is a form of worship itself. And then Imam says a really beautiful things. You know, like we have important days, we have important events, we have important places where our ibadats are accepted, where our du'as are accepted, where our supplication to Allah Almighty, the chances of it being accepted are higher. Like the way we go to under the blessed tomb of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Or the night of Qadr, or the night of 15th of Sha'ban. All these days, all these nights, and all these specific places, they have so much importance, right? So this is the way Imam is addressing to the month of Ramadan. Assalamu alayka min shahrin qarubat fihi al-amal wa nushirat fihi al-a'mal. Our salams and our salutations to the month in which the chances of our supplications getting accepted are higher. So see, like just giving the wasila of this month. Sometimes we give wasila of so many things, but do we wonder, have we ever wondered that we give the wasila of this blessed month? We can ask, Allahumma inni as'aluka bishahr Ramadan. That, oh Allah, I give you the wasila of this blessed month. And then we ask Allah Almighty for all our hajat that we have in our mind. So this is the way Imam introduced month of Ramadan. And generally when we see, mashallah, like I'm so happy to see so many believers coming into the masjid. So generally during this month, the believers are coming to the masjid. They are doing a lot of good actions that they're supposed to. They are reading the Quran. They are refraining from doing haram things too. You know, I have a friend, obviously, we generally have month of Ramadan and Muharram and Safar when we are generally close to the madhab. So you see the people, they will listen to the music whole year, but when it comes to these sacred months, they'll be like, no, I'm just taking a break for a month. You know, so all the other months, they might be doing some activities that are not allowed, but just in this month, they have the respect for this month. And I really appreciate, at least for 1 month, they're refraining themselves from haram. You know, there is a place to start. At least they have started doing some good things. So likewise, this month, so many people, they would refrain from doing so many haram things. They would read Quran so much, and not only reading the Quran, but also going through the translation of the Quran. So there's so many good things that are done in this month, right? All the good charity that you see, you know, when I open any YouTube video, right, they know the algorithm, right? So as soon as they know, so they generally put an advertisement regarding the charity, right? So there are so many charities that are working actively during this month, and all those charities that we do. And the way we are serving the Sa'imeen, the people that are fasting, be it we are doing in the masjid or calling people to our homes. So many good things are done in this month. But the only concern that I have, and inshallah I'm going to talk about this topic in this majlis, the only concern that I have is that how to preserve, how to be persistent with whatever good actions that we are doing in this month. And how to preserve that spirituality within us. That's a really important point. You know, like Allah has said, Man ja'a bil hasana, you know, mashallah, Maulana is here, could have been said, Man amala bil hasana, or Man amala al hasana. No. Allah says, no, that you don't only have to do the action, you have to bring that action on the day of judgment. That's an important thing. So there are so many people that are doing so many good actions, but the problem comes in preserving those good actions. It is like you might have a gold mine that you might have in your mind, and you have to preserve it really well. So likewise, the good actions that we do, so the good actions that we do, it is important for us to preserve those. And why is it important? There's a really beautiful hadith, and it is really connected to the way the things were going at the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen and the time of Imams. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam has said, please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Al-mudawamata al-mudawama. Imam didn't say one time. Imam says persistency, persistency. Right? He said it 2 times. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمْ يَجْعَلْ لِعَمَلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ غَايَةً إِلَّا الْمَوْتِ. That Allah has made obligatory, or Allah has made for the action of the believers. Allah wants every believer to continue with their actions till the time of death. There is no if and buts. Why does Amir al-Mu'mineen says till the time of death? There is a really, really good answer Amir al-Mu'mineen wants to give. You know, within the Islam, or when you go through the history of sects that came in, there were two major sects. One came from Sunni Islam and the other one came in within the Shia Islam. From the Sunni Islam, they had the extremist Sufis. You know, people like Hallaj and people like Ibn Arabi and those kind of people, right? And within Shia Islam, we have Ghullat. The people that would claim divinity from whom? For Aimma alayhimus salam. We had people like Abdullah ibn Saba, we had people like Muhammad bin Nasir al-Numairi in the time of Imam Ali Naqi, and we have the biggest threat, Abu al-Khattab, in the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You know, if you go through the books of Rijal, there is a really beautiful book, and one of my friends, he translated that book in Urdu, and I think part of it has been translated into English too. That book is called Ikhtiyar Ma'rifatul Rijal. And this book is written by Sheikh Tusi. And Sheikh Tusi has compiled it. The actual book was written by Sheikh Kishi, right? So Sheikh Kishi is the original author. That's why it's called Rijalul Kishi. But Sheikh Tusi basically compiled it, and he was the one that was responsible for publishing it. So Sheikh Tusi has mentioned so many ghullat, right? All these names that I was mentioning, right? One thing that was really common in all of them, and all the extremist Sufi that we say, like Hallaj and all these kind of people, right? That they would think that if you are good in faith, then you can do whatever actions you can do in your life. It doesn't matter. All the muharrimat that you do, it doesn't matter. Only you need to have the ma'rifat of Imam. You need to have right aqidah, quote unquote, I'm saying, right aqidah in their terms, right? Not in our terms, right? If you have the right aqidah, then you can do whatever actions you can do. No problem. You can drink wine. You can have illicit relationships. Unless or until you have the right aqidah, there is no problem. So Imam, by saying it, that till the time of that, we need to continue doing good actions. And one of the examples that I used initially, that example is so beautiful. Allah says, don't be like that woman. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّتِي نَقَزَتْ غَزْلَهَا, that would broke her thread. You know, सूती बनाते थे ना उर्दू में, जो रस्सियों से बनाते थे. That would broke her thread. مِن بَعْدِ قُوَّةٍ, after she had manufactured it. You know, so the Mufassirun, the commentators of the Quran, they would say that there used to be a lady in Jahiliyyah, in the times of Jahiliyyah, you know, the pre-Islamic time. The lady, what she would do is that she would manufacture the thread since the morning, like since the time of Fajr, all the way till the time of Dhuhr, Muntasifun Nahar, right? She would do it throughout the day. And as soon the mid of the day would come in, she would destroy it completely without any reason. So this lady became an example for all the people of that time. So Allah is using that example. You know, sometimes you put on so hard work. Sometimes I'm making like dishes or food, and generally sometimes it might take 2-3 hours. Imagine I spend 2-3 hours in making a pasta, in making biryani, or making any kind of dessert, right? Right now we are really close to the time of iftar, so all these examples are coming into my mind, right? So if you're trying so much, if you really did so hard work, right? And once you have made that dish of food, right? The next thing you do is to put that into garbage. How would people, like, they would not even think you were sane. They'll probably take you for medical treatment, what's going on with your brain, right? And this is such an obvious example that we have within our myths, right? But we don't reflect upon it, that we do it so many times with the good actions that we are doing. So many times. Like sometimes you reflect like, oh, these good actions that I have done in this life, this much I have done in my life, okay, that's really good. But have you preserved that really well? That's the question that comes in. You know, the same hadith Imam mentions, you know, same Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen said a really beautiful thing, and he wants to emphasize on this point. So whatever I'm quoting, basically it is from the books. So as we say, kama nukila, like the way it's being quoted, right? So sometimes if I'm not giving the reference, but still in the books, Amir al-Mu'mineen said a really beautiful thing. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, al-amala, al-amala. That continue doing actions, continue doing the way you are doing it, like good actions, right? ثُمَّ النِّهَايَةِ النِّهَايَةِ, till the time you perish, till the time death comes to you. وَالْإِسْتِقَامَةِ al-istiqama, and do it with persistency. Be persistent in whatever you do. And a really beautiful hadith, inshallah, I'm going to connect with one of the incidents of Salman Farsi, right? Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ma min shay'in ahabbu ila Allahi azza wa jal min amalin. That nothing is beloved to Allah more than an action. Yudamu alayha, that you continue to do persistently, that you do try to do in the best manner that you can, in a consistent way. Wa in qalla, even though it's a really small action that you're doing. For my youngsters, for my all like people that are around here, I know it's difficult to read Quran every day, one full juz, one full para. You know, it's difficult. One part of the Quran, it's difficult for us. Like maybe in month of Ramadan, we're really spiritually high. Yes, I understand. But does it mean when the first of Shawwal would come in, when the day of Eid comes in, we don't even look into the Quran? We don't even look into the translation? Try to have small goals in your life. And I really want my youngsters to understand it. If you have small goals, this is the hadith of Imam. That's not what I'm saying. If you have small goals that you're trying to act upon it every day, it is better to read one whole thing throughout the day. One day you are really spiritually high, and the next few days you're doing nothing. Try to distribute it. Maybe like 15 minutes a day. Just not more than 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, try to read Quran and the translation of it, and try to reflect upon the things that you have done throughout your day. Sirf 15 minutes, like 15 minutes a day. It can change your life so much. Imam is saying what? In qalla, even though if it's a really small thing. You know, one of the incidents that Sheikh Suduq quotes in his book Al-Amali. And this hadith, you know, sometimes Imams are mentioning the hadith. Imam could have said, Rasulullah said, right? There are so many hadiths that Imams have said, right? But Imams sometimes deliberately would quote it through their chains. What's the difference? Sometimes Imam can say, like, let's suppose sixth Imam can say, Rasulullah said. It is still hujjah on us. It still means that, yeah, Rasulullah said that, right? But sometimes Imam will not say like this. Imam would say that I heard from my father, Imam Baqir heard from his father, from his father, from his father, all the way to the Prophet, right? So this is one of the hadiths. Why? Because Imam wants to emphasize on the message, how important the message is. That's why he's quoting the whole chain. Like the way you would see Imam Rada coming in, and when he comes into the land of Nishapur, he quotes, I heard from my father, from my father, from my father, all the way to the Prophet, then to Jibreel, then to Allah, la ilaha illallah hisni. Right? So all the chain of gold, as they say, silsilatul dhahab, Imam would say. Likewise, in Al-Amali, Sheikh Suduq quotes Imam Sadiq from his father, all the way to Prophet. So Prophet says, Ayyukum, like he's trying to talk to his companions, and he says, Ayyukum tuhyul layl. Who among you is worshipping Allah throughout the night? Salman sitting in, Salman says, Ana ya Rasulullah, me. All right, okay, Salman. Second question comes in. Who among you finishes the Quran? Takhtimul Quran? Kull al-yawm, every day. Again, Salman saying, Ya Rasulullah, me. Who among you, ayyukum tasumud dahr? Who among you is fasting throughout the year? Then again, Salman, Ana ya Rasulullah. I am the Rasul. Like I'm the one that do it. When Rasulullah heard this, right, and the companions were sitting, so some of the companions, they said that Salman is lying. Ya Rasulullah, Salman is not telling you the truth. Rasulullah said, why? They said that we see Salman sleeping part of the night too. How can he claim that every day or every night he is worshipping Allah Almighty? We see him eating part of the days, so many days we see him eating. How can he claim that he is fasting throughout the year? And we see him quiet for so many times. How can he claim that he finishes the Quran throughout the day? For my youngsters, small actions. I'm trying to emphasize on this point. So Rasulullah said, instead of Rasulullah replying, Rasulullah said, ask Salman yourself. He is the Luqman of this ummah. You know, Surah Al-Luqman we have. when Luqman is giving advices to his child, right, to his son, Luqman of this ummah is Salman Farsi. So the companions went there, and companions had a slogan, and the slogan, look, Imam is quoting this slogan. فَقَالَ بَعْضُ أَصْحَابِهِ, some of the companions says, إِنَّ السَّلْمَانَ رَجُلٌ مِّن فُرْسٍ. You know this thing that we have, oh, this is Pakistani, or this is Indian, this is Arab, this is Iranian, right? Same thing was there at that time too, right? That they would discriminate people based on their nationality, based on their color, based on their, like, I would say, their sex, right? So they would discriminate people like this, right? So some of the companions say that this Salman is coming from Iran, is coming from Persia, right? وَيُرِيدُ أَن يَفْتَخِرَ عَلَيْنَا مَعَاشِرَ قُرَيْشٍ. And he wants to prove that he is better than we, the people of Quraysh. You know, Quraysh has this thing in their mind that they are the best of people. Right? They had this thing. And that's why they never accepted Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is a topic for one day. How Quraysh mistreated Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam, right? So they went to Salman. Now Prophet is saying, go and talk to Salman yourself. They went to Salman saying, Ya Aba Abdullah. You know, Aba Abdullah is the way you, like his kunya, like the way we have for Sayyid al-Shuhada, we have for Imam Sadiq. His kunya was also Aba Abdullah. Alaysa za'amta annaka tasumu ad-dahr? Are you the one that claims that he fasts throughout the year? Salman says, yes. Haven't you heard in the Quran, Man ja'a bil hasanati falahu ashru amthaliha? That whosoever comes with one good deed, it is as if he has come with 10 good deeds. So I fast 3 times in the month, and that means I'm fasting 30 days in the month. And I also connect the month of Sha'ban and month of Ramadan while I'm fasting. So when I do these 2 actions, it means, I heard Prophet saying it, that whosoever does these 2 actions, it means that he has fasted for the whole month or for the whole time. So that was one answer. Second thing, you claim that you are worshipping Allah Almighty throughout the night. Salman said, yes, because I heard Rasulullah saying that whosoever, when he is going to his bed and he goes in tahara, now tahara can be of 3 types, right? We know in fiqh, it can be through ghusl, it can be through wudu, it can be through tayammum. But generally, we have to do wudu when we are going, right? So anyone, just for the sake of easiness, I'll make it easy for my youngsters. So whosoever do wudu and then he goes to his bed, and then he sleeps. So it is as if he has worshipped Allah throughout the night. Then a really critical question comes in. You claim that you are reciting Quran every day, like full Quran. Then this was important. And why is it important? Because Salman is talking to whom? To Quraysh. Now Quraysh includes which people? They include the people that depose Amir al-Mu'mineen, that never wanted Amir al-Mu'mineen on the mimbar of Khilafah, right? So now this was important. He says, I have an answer to this, and I will quote Rasulullah. سَمِعْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ قَالَ لِأَمِيرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That I heard Rasulullah talking to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Abul Hasan, O Abul Hasan, O father of Imam Hassan, مَثَلُكَ فِي أُمَّتِي مَثَلَ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ فِي الْقُرْآنِ. Your example in my ummah, it is the example of Surah At-Tawheed in Quran. Who recites it 1 time, it is as if he has recited 1/3 of Quran. If someone has recited it 2 times, it is as if he has recited 2/3 of Quran. And if someone has recited 3 times, it is as if he has recited full Quran. And Ya Ali, O Ali, if someone loves you through his mouth, it is as if he has completed 1/3 of his faith. And if he has loved you with his mouth and also with his heart, it is as if he has completed 2/3 of the deen. And if someone loves you with his heart and with his mouth and also through his action, it is as if he has completed his deen. وَالَّذِي بَعَثَنِي بِالْحَقِّ. And by Allah, who has sent me with the right message, if people of the earth would love you as the people of the skies and heavens would love you, لَمَّا عُذِّبَ أَحَدٌ بِالنَّارِ. No one would be given the punishment of hellfire. So this is the example of Amir al-Mu'mineen, my brothers and sisters. And this hadith is still there. This is from the wordings of Imam. So always remember, and one thing it is important, all the good actions that we are doing, it should be with the good aqidah, with the right aqidah. And that includes the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt. And that includes disassociating ourselves with the enemies of Ahlul Bayt too. So important for us to do every action, every good thing that we do with the right aqidah. Also Salman wants to tell us that look, no action is small. Every action has its own value, right? So whatever good actions that we are doing, we need to continue doing those. Salawat pa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this is when it comes to doing the actions in small amount or small quantity, doesn't matter. You know, when Prophet was sitting, so Prophet said that whosoever recites Subhanallah 1 time, he would have a tree in paradise. One mashhur hadith, you would have listened to it. And whosoever recites Alhamdulillah 1 time, one tree in the garden of paradise. Likewise, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, 1 tree. فَقَالَ رَجُلٌ مِّن قُرَيْشٍ. So one of the companion of Rasulullah from Quraysh, he says, Ya Rasulullah, inna shajaratan fil jannati la kathira. That if you are saying it, then mashallah, we would have so many trees in Jannat. बहुत सारे हमारे पास दरख्त होंगे, like a lot of trees, right? Rasulullah replied. Rasulullah said, Bala, of course. Walakinna. Yes, but you have to be mindful of one thing. لا ترسلوا نيرانا لتحرقها. That's don't send hellfire. Whatever things that you have built in Jannah, don't send hellfire to that so it destroys all those trees that you have planted in Jannat. So mashallah, we're doing good actions here, right? But important thing would be that these actions, we can take it till the day of judgment. You know, really important hadith again. And this hadith, when I was going through it, it actually gave me some goosebumps, right? What's the hadith? Rasulullah was, and you know, Rasulullah had this habit of questioning the companions so that he can educate them really well. So Rasulullah says that who is muflis, who is beggary, who is the poor one, right? So the companions that were sitting, they says, Ya Rasulullah, al-muflisu fina man la lahu dirhamun wala mata'. That the muflis or the beggar among us is the person that doesn't have money or that doesn't have provisions to live. Rasulullah says, yes, I understand, but I'm not talking about the muflis of dunya. I'm not talking about the beggar of this dunya. I'm talking about the beggar of the akhirah. And then Rasulullah used a simile. Rasulullah used an example. He says that one of the person would come in on the day of judgment and he would have good deeds as if the deeds would reflect like a huge mountain. Right? Yahan tak baat, like it's really clear, like he would have so many good deeds. But there will be a group of people that would be coming and will be talking to him on that day of judgment. So he is having conversation with a group of people that will be coming in. And those group of people that will come and meet him are the people that he had done bad against, right? So now this day is what? Day of recompensation, day of justice. Everything will be dealt justly, right? So when they would come in, they would say that you did this bad action against me. So a certain amount of good deeds will be taken from their book of deeds and that will be transferred to the person that they did bad against. So this will continue until all the good deeds that he had would finish. And then the time would come in, the bad deeds that they had, the other people that were being bad against, that were being treated badly, their bad deeds would be transferred from their book of deeds to him. And finally, he would not have one single good deed left and he would be thrown into hellfire. So important for us. Now, the message that I want to convey today, this message is important, is to preserve the good deeds that we have. If you are not able to preserve the good deeds, then unfortunately, we might think that we have earned so much in this dunya. But ultimately, when we will be going on the day of judgment, we would not have anything left. And when we are talking about preserving good deeds, how would we preserve it? What are the ways that we can do it? Obviously, we're just really close to the time of iftar, so I cannot go and explain it further. But sufficient for us to know that refraining ourselves from the bad deeds is the most important thing. Why? Because Allah would only accept from whom? From muttaqeen, from God-fearing people. If we don't have the taqwa, if we don't have God-fearness within us, then all the good deeds that we are doing, ultimately, they would perish. So refraining from bad deeds, refraining ourselves from the bad things is important. And secondly, good actions that we are doing in this month, we should continue it after this month too. I know we cannot do this with the same quantity the way we are doing it. If we donated $100 this month, so perhaps we can donate $10 next month. But try to do it every month. If we were reciting whole juz every day of Quran, whole part of the Quran, we can still recite 10 or 20 ayats one day. But do it with the translation so we know what Allah is trying us to understand. If we were serving mu'mineens, if we were giving them the food for maybe 400 people, we can at least give food for 4 people every month. Have small goals at least. From small goals, if we are persistent on those goals, it will lead us to the big goals. And when it comes to preserving the good deeds and refraining from the bad ones, right? We have so many personalities within Islam that have their ismatul sughra, that never committed any sin in their life. And whatever good deeds they have, they made sure that they preserve that good deeds properly. And one of those personalities was whom? Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. The respect he had for Imam Hussein, the respect he had for Sayyidah Zainab salamullah alayha was immensible. You know, on the day of Ashura, when Imam came in, and when he always came in to grant permission that, Ya Imam, can I go and fight? Every time he was answered that, O Abbas, you are the flag bearer of my army. How can I allow you to go and fight, Ya Abbas? So the last time he would come in and he started crying. He says, Mawla, there is no army left for me that I would lead. And then he saw small babies and small children. They were crying because of thirst. They were saying, Al-Atash, Al-Atash, that this piyas or this thirst has killed us. And when Abbas heard it, then obviously he had some babies coming with him. And he said, Imam, I want to get water for them. And Imam said, okay, Abbas, you are being given permission to go and fetch some water. But the Imam didn't, Abbas probably had to give his last farewell to the people, to his family, and now he is going to fight and to grab water for the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And now when he went and when he tried to grab the water, he got the water and the water skin. But when he was coming back, he was struck by a tear, and the tear struck him in such a way that it struck him in his eyes, and he was not able to fight furthermore. And someone came in from the back, and someone, when they hit him so harshly on his head, Abbas was not able to fight furthermore, and now he has to come on the ground. But Ya Mu'mineen, when everyone came to the ground, they had hands to support them when they were coming down. But Abbas didn't have any hands left. He cried and he said, Oh Imam, please accept my last salam. And when Imam heard the voice of Abbas, he has said, Al-an in Qasr al-Dhahri. Oh Abbas, you going now has broken my back. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلِبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ. Oh Allah, we accept that we ask Allah Almighty from the wasila of Ahlul Bayt, from the wasila of this month of Shahr Ramadan. Oh Allah, accept our small good deed that we have just done. Oh Allah, please hasten the dhuhur of Imam. Oh Allah, there are so many people that are sitting and they have so many supplications, there are so many hajats that they have. Oh Allah, accept all their hajats. And oh Allah, please forgive our marhumin and please elevate their status. And O Allah, make us among the close companions and make us among the lover of Imam Sahibul Zaman. And O Allah, again we ask, please hasten the dhuhur of Imam. عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.